Yes.
I was wondering. And culture means to grow, right? Like you can grow, you can culture something in a petri dish. What's the difference between agriculture, horticulture, permaculture?
Okay.
Is there any other kind of cultures I'm missing?
So agriculture is the culture, the cultivation of annual plants. Agriculture.
So row crops, that kind of thing.
Right.
Gardens.
Row crops.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Horticulture is the culturing and growing of trees and shrubs and perennials.
Like your yard.
Like my yard.
Yeah. Okay.
And the compost I'm making is horticultural compost because I'm growing a horticultural
That's right.
horticultural garden. Permaculture is a term used to indicate a series of actions taken by a person managing a piece of property with the intent of causing those activities to be capable of being sustained indefinitely.
That's what you're eventually going for, right?
Which horticulture is part of that. But a permacultural setup can have some agriculture, and it can have some horticulture, and it can have some animal husbandry. The idea is to get them balanced to the point where they're all self-sustaining.
They don't eat each other.
You don't have
each other out.
You don't have more outgo than income from any aspect of the operation.
Okay. Well, that answered that question. I was like, wait a minute, how many cultures are there? That's what I was wondering while I was in the bathtub.
So part of that, also part of the permaculture idea is you're going to have a way of providing habitat for people that doesn't consume more energy than where they're at is capable of producing. Once again, earth sheltered housing.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
There's a reason why we lived in caves.
Living in caves is a great way to live because you can maintain a constant 55 to 60 degree temperature year round.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
I mean, you might have to have a little bit of a fire going every now and then to stay warm, or put on an extra sweater or something. But living in a cave is great. Big problem is there's not caves everywhere that you want to live, so we have to learn how to make artificial caves.
There's always rocks or dirt.
There's always rocks or dirt. Modern housing, the way it's done, is ultimately not sustainable because it relies upon coming up with a fuel source beyond what the land you're on can produce in order to heat it and cool it.
And then usually moving a lot of materials.
Right.
It should already be there.
So you're already wasting your own energy and everyone else's trying to keep it warm and keep it cooled, and then you're expending more trying to move the fuel around, move the building materials around, and everything else.
Oh, like if you were to take those, the hazelnuts, you're supposed to prune them and another one of your trees every year. One would be for wood or building or mushroom beds.
Yep. Alders.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah,
Alders.
Keep your alders compost, keep your hazelnuts compost.
Compost?
Alder wood, you strip the leaves off and you use that for your nitrogen and your fertilizer. The wood, you can use alder wood for mushroom growing.
I'm excited about that one.
Yeah.
Mushrooms.
The edible kind of mushrooms, not the make you see funny colors kind of mushrooms.
Of course, wink wink. Nudge nudge.
Anyway. But you can do that with willows too, for that matter. Also charcoal making if you're going to be making your biochar.
Right.
Charcoal if you're using it for the treatment of disease symptoms such as diarrhea.
Wait, which one? What's for diarrhea?
You use charcoal for medical purposes.
Oh yeah, you're supposed to make a video on that. That's right.
It'll stop your diarrhea in its tracks. You'll poo black for a while afterwards, but it will stop the diarrhea. Accidental poisoning, of course, is still being used by modern medicine
in hospitals
for treating poisoning and drug overdoses.
Ugh,
or they put the tube down into your stomach.
Oh God.
Yeah. So there's all different kinds of uses for charcoal.
Did you ever make that video?
In addition, I haven't made that video
Okay.
yet. In addition, of course, to being a fuel for cooking your food.
Right.
Lump charcoal.
Which is better than people cooking
I've done a video
dog.
where you show you how to light it without needing petroleum distillates, so you don't have to worry about
the okra stalks we had piled up. That one?
Yep.
Yeah,
Okra stalks.
Nice. Oh, speaking of grilling, I'm so excited. I'm hungry.
Yep, we're going to do some grilling today. You're doing video right now, aren't you?
No.
You're holding the phone in a very awkward and unusual manner.
And I keep looking at it.
Indicates to me that perhaps you're taking some video.
Yes, because that's a very good question. Like, how many kind of cultures? So there's 3 cultures plus what you put in a petri dish.
Yeah. Well, culture is just basically to grow.
Culture.
Like, we have a society. Our society has a culture.
It means what we're growing.
It's a framework. It's how we grow.
Oh.
And what grows out of it.
I thought culture was like, culture. You know, each decade had its own culture. Didn't they give them a goofy generation name?
Well, in a way, that's true.
Uh-huh.
Because they all have that same pattern of growth and development. So they are a culture.
And then there's like cultures inside of your cultures, like hippie culture, skater culture, gang culture, counterculture, mainstream culture, I guess.
Right. So I'm attempting to get started a new wave of culture.
Literally.
where we have this idea that we need to plant perennials. Perennial plants.
What do you do in your landscaping anyways?
To the amount of 1 tree per person per year. That's it. 1 tree per person per year.
Well,
and when I say tree, I mean a canopy tree, a big tree.
Right.
And not just any sort of canopy tree or big tree, but one that produces something useful.
Well, you think
preferably food, but
you would think that would come with the house. Then
yeah,
you buy a house.
Yeah, if you're going to buy a property and there's not a good supply of trees around it, you go, hey, where's the trees? Come back to me when you're serious about selling this property, because there's nothing here.
Because usually that's the first thing they get rid of is all the trees.
Nice 350.
You know, right?
Anyway,
pickup porn. It's the same color as ours.
Anyway, one tree per person per year. Canopy tree, and if you're not planting a canopy tree, if you're planting a fruit tree, plant 2 fruit trees, because those are understory trees.
Right, and then you
And if you're not planting understory trees, if you're planting shrubs, plant 4. So if you're planting hazelnuts, plant 4. If you're planting blueberries, plant 4. You can mix it up if you wanted to, and say plant a peach tree and a hazelnut tree and a blueberry. There you go. That's your yearly allotment of trees. And if you do this, then you'll rapidly see that you are producing more food than you require.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're doing it for your child until your child turns 18 or until they're old enough to start planting trees for themselves, I did this during that almost 2-hour-long live stream the other day.
That'd be a good way to retire.
But just putting it out. Okay,
yeah.
This when your child was born, you planted the pecan tree here. First year, pecan tree here. Second year, pecan tree here. Third year, pecan tree here. Then 4th and 5th years, it was fruit trees.
Fruit trees.
And it was 2 trees per year for those years.
I think hazelnuts came later.
Peaches, cherries, pears, apples, whatever, plums, pawpaws, bananas, mangoes. Depending upon the climate that you can grow in, whatever it is that you can grow there. And then the next 4 years after that, until the 10th birthday, was bushes.
Oh.
Then we went to hazelnuts.
Oh, hazelnuts are bushes.
Yeah, and then after we had 16 hazelnut trees, we said, okay, that's plenty of hazelnut trees. Started planting blueberry bushes. Right. We planted, I think, 8 of those. And then by this time, your child is 10 years old. We calculated by the time your child is 18 years old, how much food is he getting out of what you've planted for him? And this is only by the time he reached age 10. We've still got 8 more years to go.
Then those would be your retirement trees, yeah.
Yeah, you still got 8 more years to go. And we were at over 630 days worth of food per year produced by what you planted for your kid. He's only 10 years old at this point. So, So obviously there's enough food to feed him and also a spouse, and if they're continuing on with the traditional planning, more children and more children and more children. So you're taking care of the future generations ahead of time.
That's probably how those ancient civilizations without agriculture did it. They're like, how can they be hunter-gatherers and build all this stuff?
Yeah, where did they have the time to build these amazing, huge things? Well, they had the time because they weren't wasting it. They weren't wasting it on agriculture. That's how.
Just once a year, go out and plant some trees, and you're done.
Yeah.
Just every year.
This is just a very bare minimum. Once a year, I go out and I plant a tree. That's it.
And that's a perfect gift for somebody who moves in and has a baby. Send them a tree.
One or two days worth of effort on your part, and in all actuality, of those 1 or 2 days, 15 to 20 minutes worth of work. That was your investment in making sure that nobody has to be hungry ever.
And if everybody does this, or enough people do this,
I feel too lazy to go and pick up and eat the fruit the food that is readily available and free. That's the reason why you're starving.
You'd store your nuts.
Yeah.
Like a chipmunk. Find my nuts.
I'm starving because I'm too lazy to just pick up the food and eat it.
But I was thinking if everybody had trees, or enough people had trees, the plants would practically be free. People would give them away to like, hey, I'm gonna sneak a tree in your yard.
Hey, I need a place to plant a pecan tree, and I need a pecan tree. Have you got it? Yeah, here, go take that one.
All those cuttings.
Otherwise, I'm gonna pull it up out of the ground and throw it away because it's a weed at this point.
Like those maples, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
But you can eat them.
Yeah, I have trees that are weeds, and I'm operating an online nursery, and you'd be shocked, but where do I get my stock for my online nursery? I pull up my weeds. I pull up my weeds, and I put them into a box to let them grow out and get healthy root systems, and then whenever they go dormant, we box them up and ship them out. I'm selling you my weeds. That's what I'm doing. I'm selling you my weeds.
One man's weed is another man's.
But it's a valuable tree if you don't have any. But once you've got them, you can propagate as many as you want. That's why they're such a wonderful wonderful
What store are we
product.
going to?
We're going to the grocery store over there.
Oh, hey, I'm looking at the Tractor Supply stuff.
So they're a wonderful product. Yes, you only have to buy it from me once ever, but that's okay.
That's a horrible business model.
Isn't that a horrible business model? My customers only have to shop at my business once, and then they're set.
Or know somebody who knows you.
Yeah.
Because you'll probably gift them a tree.
Yeah, I know. I give a lot of stuff away. But,
here, you need a tree. Our neighbor needs a tree, and he's like, I got an apple tree, that's enough.
Well, there was a wise man once said, it does not matter, if it does not matter who gets the credit, there's no limit to what can be accomplished. That's probably paraphrasing, but that's the idea. It's like,
yes.
The eventual goal is one day I will live in a world where
barbecue.
we're not out being baked by the sun. We walk in the shade.
And
food,
eat.
water, and shelter are readily available to anyone who wants it.
That reminds me of a story of a man and a banana tree. But I don't remember.
Not a banana?
Supposedly there was a man who would sit underneath a banana tree because he lived in the tropics or something, and he was eating his bananas, and then an Englishman comes along and goes, why don't you plant more bananas? Yeah. And then you can sell them. And the man's like, what, so I can buy more bananas?
Exactly.
I don't need anything. I got leaves, I got wood, I got food.
I'm sitting here under this tree. I have everything I need. Why do I need to engage in commerce at this point?
I think there's also a joke about the British too. Always want to engage in commerce because they did kind of take over the world there for a little while.
That and
British.
We talk about solving some world problems. What happens whenever you have no need to take anything from your neighbor because you have everything that you already want anyway? You have it in such abundance that you're more than happy to give it away for free, just to get it out of your way. You go, yes, would you please take this?
You'd think the progressives would be all about this. They're like about universal whatnots, and I'm like, tree planting.
Yeah, there you go. So your dream of this socialist utopia, you can't get there by forcing people at gunpoint to go along with your ideas, but you can entice them with the possibility of a better world where you're not forcing anything on anyone.
And then you literally just give each other haircuts.
Yeah, but then you have to deal with the fact that there is nobody who is in charge, and you can't be anybody's master.
Oh,
that might be a problem for you.
Well, I think